The most liberal country in the world. Have you ever thought about what it would be like to live in the world's most open country, where freedom, equality, and progressive values are not just ideas but everyday life? Imagine a place where healthcare is free, men and women are treated equally, and the earth is the most important thing. What makes this country different, and how can the rest of the world learn from how it does things? Some nations push the bounds of freedom, equality, and progress in a world that is constantly changing, adopting ideals that shape contemporary civilization. Yet, in order to answer the question, what is the most liberal country in the world? We must examine the subtle differences between various interpretations of the term liberal. Norway, a liberal values model. Norway, which is tucked away on the Scandinavian peninsula, is frequently ranked among the world's most progressive, egalitarian, and democratic nations. Norway is a prime example of liberal values in many areas, including environmentalism, social welfare, gender equality, and individual liberties. Social welfare and universal healthcare. A robust social safety net is a defining characteristic of liberal nations, and Norway is no exception. A combination of state and general tax revenue is used to fund the healthcare system, guaranteeing that no one is denied access to essential medical care because they cannot afford to pay a large portion of the bill out of pocket. The welfare state in Norway provides more than medical treatment. It provides parental leave, pensions, and full unemployment benefits. The liberal goal of assisting people and families in a way that advances equality and financial stability is emphasized by these measures. To further ensure that everyone, regardless of socioeconomic status, has access to opportunities for growth, the Norwegian government also offers free education from elementary school through university. The premise that health and education are rights rather than privileges is important to a liberal society. Leadership in the environment. Environmental protection is a key component of liberal ideology, and Norway is a model citizen in this regard. The nation leads the world in green energy and sustainability, and hydropower accounts for a sizable amount of its electricity production. Norway has a strong environmentalist tradition, which is seen in both its national and international climate change policy. Norway set a strong model for other countries when it committed to becoming carbon neutral by 2030 in 2016. Furthermore, Norway has some of the world's harshest environmental laws, including a carbon price and significant reforestation initiatives. More than half of all new cars sold in Norway are electric because of significant expenditures made by the government in EV infrastructure. Norway actively supports environmental causes both domestically and internationally. It invests in renewable energy projects across the world and participates in worldwide efforts to battle deforestation. Its foresight in climate action reflects the liberal tenet that environmental sustainability and economic progress must coexist rather than be mutually antagonistic. LGBTQ+ rights and gender equality. Norway is a beacon of hope for LGBTQ+ and gender equality, demonstrating its dedication to human rights and social progress. Due to decades of progressive policies that support equal opportunities for men and women in the workplace, politics, and society at large, the nation has one of the highest rates of gender equality in the world. Enacted in 1978, the Gender Equality Act guarantees that discrimination on the basis of gender is forbidden. Strong parental leave laws are also in place in the nation, encouraging fathers to be actively involved in raising their children and advancing gender equality in both the public and private domains. And when it comes to LGBTQ+ rights, Norway is just as enlightened. Norway is notable for its progressive approach to personal identification and individual liberties, as it was among the first nations, the most liberal country in the world. Have you ever thought about what it would be like to live in the world's most open country, where freedom, equality, and progressive values are not just ideas but everyday life? Imagine a place where healthcare is free, men and women are treated equally, and the earth is the most important thing. What makes this country different, and how can the rest of the world learn from how it does things? Some nations push the bounds of freedom of expression, and democratic involvement. The defense of free speech and the promotion of engaged civic engagement are two more essential components of liberalism. Press freedom and political transparency have long been traditions in Norway. Its continuous near-top rankings in international press freedom indexes demonstrate its dedication to guaranteeing that both citizens and journalists can express themselves without fear of censorship or harassment. The rights to assemble, to protest, and to engage in public discourse are highly valued in Norwegian society. Election turnout is consistently high and political activity is highly promoted. People participate actively in the decision-making process, and public hearings and referendums are regularly used by the government to solicit public input on major policy changes. Furthermore, a high degree of local autonomy is permitted by Norway's decentralized political system, which reflects liberal ideals of participatory governance and the significance of strengthening local communities, regardless of where they reside in the thriving metropolis of Oslo or a sleepy town deep in the Arctic Circle. Humanitarianism and criminal justice. Another well-known feature of Norwegian criminal justice is its liberal bent. Norway's prison system is frequently praised for its humane treatment of offenders, emphasizing job training, counseling, and education to assist them get ready for life after release. The efficacy of this strategy is demonstrated by the nation's low recidivism rate, which is about 20% as opposed to an average of 50 to 70% in many other countries. Norway is a major player in international aid and conflict resolution when it comes to humanitarianism. It frequently acts as a mediator in international peace talks and is among the nations that contributes the most per person to foreign aid worldwide. Norway's kind refugee policies, especially its readiness to provide asylum to those fleeing conflict, further demonstrate the country's dedication to international humanitarian efforts. Happiness and work-life balance. Because they place a strong emphasis on work-life balance, Norwegians have one of the greatest standards of living in the world. In Norway, liberal regulations guarantee that employees have the right to a fair workweek, usually limited to 37.5 hours, as well as substantial vacation time and flexible work schedules. Due in part to its emphasis on family and personal time, Norway routinely ranks highly on international happiness and well-being surveys. A fundamental aspect of Norwegian culture is friluftsliv, or open-air living, which reflects the liberal notion that happiness and personal fulfillment are equally vital as economic success. Religious freedom and secularism. Norway is one of the world's most secular nations while having a state church. The majority of Norwegians consider themselves to be agnostic, and the government guarantees people's freedom to practice any religion they so choose. Norway's legal system and secular education system are not affected by religious beliefs because the country upholds the principle of the separation of church and state. Greater freedom of speech and tolerance for differing faiths are two further characteristics of a liberal society that are made possible by secularism. Norway is a welcoming and diverse country that values diversity in all facets of life, fostering peaceful coexistence of different cultures, worldviews, and religions. Norway is perhaps the world's most liberal nation because of its combination of progressive legislation, egalitarian ideals, and dedication to individual liberty. Norway continuously sets an example for how a free society may prosper in the contemporary world, whether it is via its substantial social welfare programs, its leadership in environmental sustainability, or its support of human rights. Liberalism is about building a society where every person has the chance to achieve and lead a full life, as demonstrated by its commitment to equality, freedom of speech, and respect for variety. Norway continues to lead the way in progress as global issues change, providing an example of what can be achieved when liberal values are given priority and implemented in all spheres of public life. If you found this exploration of Norway's liberal values fascinating, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Join our community for more insightful videos as we uncover the world's most progressive places and ideas.